Start recording. There we go.
Oh, were you not recording?
All better. No, I was recording, but it's now starting over.
Okay.
Not the start of the rules, but anyways. All right, so you have your 4 cameras, and then there's these hallways in between.
Okay.
You have 4 actions you can take the entire game. Yes.
That's new. Okay.
That is new, yes. Also, if you're switching between cameras, there's a 3-second cooldown before you can change cameras. And that is up to you to count. You can count however you want, except for 1, 2, 3. You can't go as fast as you can. Count as normal as you can, but however you wish. Your 4 abilities. Or your 4 actions, I should say. Because abilities are different. You have multiple abilities, like releasing prisoners, but that doesn't take an action to do. It takes a prisoner to do. Oops, it still says 6 actions. It's 4 actions now. Also, the 4 doors surrounding your observation room. You can open one of those doors for a free action. But your door is now open. Basically, I didn't even explain this to her, but it takes specific monsters specific amount of times to get through a door, regardless if it's closed or not. So technically, it's like a little safety barrier. They'll still get in eventually if they're right there, but if you open one, they'll kill you instantly if that's their path at the moment. But that's the risk you take.
Why would I open it?
If you want another action.
Oh, okay.
I mean, specifically, it takes an action to use pull.
Right.
So if you don't have any actions,
okay.
but you're trying to capture that monster, you're going to
I didn't get that one.
Yeah, no.
Okay. So if I open the door, I get an extra action.
Right. And one of your abilities and actions is closing a door. Right. It takes one of these, right? If it's not destroyed, you can take it back just like your doors and use it somewhere else.
Oh.
The 3 that will consume it is push, pull, and stun. If you use push, pull, or stun, it will consume the action immediately. Like, you don't even place it here, you're just going to hand me the dice and say pull in cafeteria or whatever. Releasing prisoners. Basically, you're just going to give an order to the prisoner. Go to courtyard. If they're off of the map when you give the order, they will start as close as possible. But they cannot carry out a new order until they complete your last one. So if that order were to get them killed on their way or whatever they're doing, then he's gone forever. Let's see. Push. Push moves, if they're affected, push will move the monster out of the current room into an adjacent hallway. Push, it will also push a monster from an adjacent hallway into an adjacent room. So if they're in, so that's like the area of effect of a push, is the room you do it from and the hallways next to it. Pull is the same way.
So that's different. It won't push with pull. Will it pull somebody from here into here?
I'm getting a pull.
Okay.
Pull. It moves monsters from the... it moves monsters into the inner room from the room you pulled from.
Right.
So if they're in the room, it'll move them into the smaller room. Okay. It will also pull monsters from an adjacent hallway into that room.
Okay. So it
but it does not.
Pulls them from here.
It does not affect the adjacent room. No, just the adjacent hallway.
Okay.
And that, was brand new. Stun. If the monster can be affected, it will stop the monster movement for their normal timer.
Okay.
That's dumb. Oh, that's not even what it says anymore. I'm sorry. It will stop the monster for about 20 seconds.
Okay.
If they can be affected by it, it'll stop them for 20 seconds in that room. Not adjacent hallways, nothing like that. Specifically in that room. Let's see. Yeah, you can open and close security doors. It does take an action, but if you open it before the door is destroyed, you get it back. Now, each monster has a different timer for how long it takes them to get through a door, but regardless. Think of it as power. We only have a certain amount of power. Let's see. A little bit of information about the monsters themselves. The unicorn is the creature you're trying to capture in the random selected container, and you'll know that at the beginning of the round. There is a slight camera malfunction when looking at it. Yeah, and it has a medium speed compared to the other monsters. It's not fast, it's not slow, it's just pretty basic.
Okay.
The mannequin, highly dangerous and very quick. But it doesn't move if you're looking at it.
Okay.
And then the moving shadow. This creature hides in rooms by turning into the mundane objects that are in that room. It is really slow, though. Except for corridors. It is very slow in a room, we believe because it's hunting in the room. But corridors, it's not. It's hunting ground, so it moves very quickly between corridors. And that is the game rules. But let me talk about the board a little bit. Don't erase or change any of the board layout. You can use the board to mark locations of monsters, doors, prisoners, abilities, whatever. It's all up to you, though. I'm not going to touch your board. The only time I'm going to touch your board is specifically if a door is broken. So it's kind of like a little cheaty hint that you're getting. Because if you're staring at courtyard, you wouldn't technically know that door's closed, but I'm going to take the dice just so you don't get confused.
Okay.
And yeah, abilities used. The board is for your reference and not needed to be played, but highly recommended. Also, the pieces themselves, you can use whatever piece for whatever monster you deem fit, except for the orange pieces. Those are your prisoners. But whatever monster you think fits for those color tokens that you have. And that's it. Any questions?
No.
Remember to count to 3.
Okay.
And go ahead. Everybody go to your rooms? Don't go ahead yet.
Okay. Are these doors or objects?
Oh, those are doors, which are also objects. They can turn into a door.
Okay.
But if you see that the door is open behind it. Speaking of which, let me go make sure all the doors are open. They should not be closed.
Oh, so I'll be able to see on the map if it's closed.
Yeah, it's just not very pronounced. I wish I could make that a little bit bigger, but yeah, no. The door itself is just, it's a door. So if you see an extra door somewhere, it's probably the moving shadow. Let's see. Yeah, all the doors are good to go. So you should be good. Give me one more second. We'll see what room you need. Oh, hold on. Let me also mark down the last play tester's time before it's erased forever. 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Did you die?
No.
Oh.
No, there were some rule changes afterwards, though.
Oh.
Okay. And go ahead.
I just know it. Huh? Oh. Wait, you didn't tell me what room I'm going after.
You are correct. The infirmary. You're trying to bring the unicorn to the infirmary. Let me leave Discord as well. I shouldn't be in here. Okay, game start.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, wait. Oh, one thing. Oh, that's right. Just one second. Oh, it's still not down.
Ah! I hit my foot. It's fine. It's fine.
Can they move in and out of the rooms while I'm in the room?
Some of them can. That's up to you to find out.
I'm about to die. I can feel it. Oh, shit. I think I did that one too fast. Sorry.
Oops.
I don't remember which way this one moves. Is this supposed to be? Where am I supposed to go? Infirmary, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just sit here for a second. Oh, okay. I want one of my prisoners to go into the infirmary.
Prisoner to infirmary. Okay. Does take him a certain amount of time to move over there too.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna do
You hear heavy beating on your east door.
in my room.
In your room.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull the unicorn into here
Pull into.
and then shut the door. I have to shut this one, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Game over.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, that was a lot more interesting. No offense, Sam.
It's not my fault in video games.
What rule did you change after you played?
We'll discuss it in a minute.
Okay.
But, yeah, hold on. Let me make sure everybody's in here.
Did my prisoner die?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I figured he would because I knew you said that they didn't completely stop the mannequin, but I figured it would slow it down.
Hold on, give me a second. Oh, no, he's here. All right, what did you just say?
I asked if the prisoner died. He said
Right.
yes. And then I said I figured he probably would, but because you told me that the mannequin still moves with them, but slows it down, so that's what I was hoping it would do.
It did. It did for a second. But then the unicorn moved into the room.
Oh,
Um,
the unicorn killed it.
well, yeah, technically.
Oh.
Because as soon as the unicorn got there, mannequin could no longer move at all.
Oh.
So the unicorn definitely is the one that killed him.
Okay. Did the mannequin end up moving out though?
Yeah, he was the one beating on your door.
Oh.
He had moved all the way through his entire rotation.
I thought he couldn't move at all when the unicorn was in there.
Right. No, he moved out right before the unicorn got there. But either way. Let's see. Oh, yeah. One confusion you had, which is good because it's supposed to be a learning technique, is the unicorn does go clockwise. He went to experiment and ended up the shadow ended up in the same room. The shadow will eat the unicorn if the shadow is not in like hiding form. The unicorn attacks the shadow. The shadow eats him, and then immediately carries him forward. So they both move forward. The mimic kind of has a very strange movement through the area, but all he does is take the unicorn back a room. So
that's what I was like. I don't know. He ended up in the experiment room twice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the unicorn started in cafeteria, and basically all three of them ended up in experiment at the same time. But because the shadow wasn't already in there, like hiding, the unicorn attacked him, which caused the mimic to eat him and then immediately carry him over back a room. So it's detrimental because now the unicorn's even farther away from the infirmary again.
Right.
But the mannequin never slows down. So that's why the mannequin was able to actually get pretty damn close to you this time.
Yeah.
Now, you didn't see any of this happening, but you would have if you were on the camera. I mean, we literally played it out on here. Yeah, but after that happens, he hides again and spits the unicorn out.
Okay.
That's kind of how. So he was again hidden in the cafeteria. He's actually, he might still be in there. No. Where did he move to? I think he was on the way to moving somewhere, but you started pulling from the thing, so I didn't actually get to place him. Maybe. I don't even know. They hide him pretty well sometimes. So, but but either way, yeah. No, it was very close.
Yeah.
But still happened, which makes me think the mannequin needs to be faster. Because you should have lost that, in all honesty.
Yeah.
But your door wasn't wide open. Otherwise, you would have lost it. So technically, I guess it still balanced out really well. Because, yeah, as soon as Mannequin left, Unicorn came in here into his final room. Mannequin had 15 seconds before he started beating on the door. And then another 15 seconds to get through that door. Basically, the same timer they have in rooms and hallways is the time it takes them to get through a door.
Right.
But the unicorn had just got in there. I mean, I literally deleted Mannequin as soon as I pulled the unicorn in there. So you were like, pull! And got in there and did it. But so nice. It was very, very close.
Yeah.
But you still won.
I like that there's only 4. I like that they all limited these.
Yes. Us too.
Because previously it was just only up to 4 at a time, but now it's just 4 total. That's good.
Right. And we did that because it was too easy to open a closed door to stun this. Like it was very
And it
like we
makes
had a
you
player that
actually
was just
think
moving a bunch of stuff.
about it before you do anything.
True, and it's easier on us
Yeah.
because every single action you take there's a few things we have to do.
Right.
Go delete people out of rooms or move them or whatever, right? So, yeah, it's definitely, we think, better. And it was 6 actions, but we moved it down to 4 last round. Let me discuss what she did. So, pull used to affect the room.
I was thinking that might
So
have been
it started here. She pulled, then pulled, then pulled, and closed the door. With her first 4 actions, she basically almost immediately won.
I was thinking about that.
I mean, it still took 2 minutes because the first 30-ish seconds, there's no monsters. It came out, and then it has its timer in between. So even if you pull, it leaves that room immediately, but still has its timer in here. And she pulled again. Yeah. It's
Nice.
so it no longer affects adjacent rooms, just adjacent hallways.
Alright.
By the way, that was actually pretty clean. I didn't see anything super wrong, except for maybe it's still slightly a little bit too easy. But I don't know. It balanced really well this round. We'd have to test that again.
Are you still aiming to do the multi-round thing?
But yeah,
And maybe don't make it harder? Because if you add more people, or more monsters,
Or less
you'll want
moves
that
or
grace.
whatever. Yeah.
well, that's what we haven't really discussed. Right now, it is a 1-level game.
Okay, we'll do
Because
it.
we don't have any other monsters. We have a bunch in planning, but so we were thinking there's always 3 monsters, maybe 4, depending on the monsters themselves. But the monsters are are harder. Or even the thing you're trying to capture. So the unicorn's pretty basic. He's just very basically moving around the rooms, going from room to room on a specific timer. But like you mentioned, a parasite type thing, it travels only on other monsters. That adds a whole different layer of trying to get the parasite into the thing, whatever, right?
Finding which monster.
So that's how we would do our difficulty, is just different monsters.
Yeah.
The monsters are just progressively more difficult to try and capture. And even level 5, you could try to capture the mannequin or something, something really difficult to capture. Because he can't be affected by pull.
Oh,
But
really?
that's why it's also not a good idea. But
So you just put all your prisoners in there.
yeah, something exactly.
But then you can't watch to wait for him to go into the room, so you have to go in and out.
Mm-hmm. He would be very, very difficult to capture. And that's why he would be the last level
Or you
capture.
just listen at the door, wait for the scream of death, and then you close the door.
Yeah. But either way, doesn't matter for this, our prototype and technically the real game that it's based off of is fleshed out enough to have
It's a real
some
game.
gameplay. Yeah. So, but either way, did you have any questions? Or did you already ask? Because I'm going to stop the OBS.
Oh.